Okay, just look at this picture. Just look at this picture. Isn't this not one of the most arresting pictures you've ever seen? It's amazing. It's the World Trade Center, and as you can see, there's a man camping out next to his car on a cot. Right next to, if we go down and look, it is the West Side Highway, New York City, 1977. Oh my gosh, this picture gives me such a feeling. And I bet you anything the guy on the cot is a Vietnam War veteran. I just have this feeling, he was homeless or whatnot. So moving right along. Another picture, absolutely amazing. I'm just fascinated by photography. I really am. And this is another 1977 gem. John Divola, Zuma Beach, 1977. Dye transfer print. And just look at it. It's like a worn down beach house, only festive. And then you've got the big guns. This is Mandela residue right here, baby. Well, not really residue, but 2 examples of Mandela affected things, or things we remember as being Mandela effects. Okay, so this one, what does this one say? Stephen Shore, Beverly Boulevard and La Brea Avenue. Hey, that's my neighborhood. Oh my God. And it's 1975, June 21st. This looks so naked. I mean, to hang out in this corner today, it's not just gas stations and what look to be apartment buildings. It really is truly amazing. And of course, the whole Chevron thing of how it's now the blue over the red, which it's always been in my reality. But I do have one video on YouTube wherein we did find on, oh gosh, what is it called? Well, it's a video a few months back, but it definitely has to do with Chevron, the Chevron logo. And there's this one website. It's a New World something, like it's a New World New World Encyclopedia. Sound familiar? And they do have a picture of the Chevron sign and a gas station with the Chevron sign, but the red is on top. So that's really weird. And then over here, I was just struck by these very low-hanging clouds. And what year did this picture come out? This picture came out in 1974. 1974, baby. And it's so perfect. Like, there's just this delicious symmetry between the clouds and the cars. The cars are just sort of lumped together and very horizontal, just like the clouds. But my whole point in this was, back to my favorite picture, everything in our memory we have stored. It's just amazing. And the thing of it is we have it stored, and everything from the way we see colors to the way we see angles to the way we see edges of things is sort of etched in our mind and gives off, there's just something very, very visceral about it. And I made another video, gosh, maybe 9 months ago, kind of about how, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but every 6 months, there's like a change in the way you feel and the way you see the world and the way colors look and the way things taste. And I don't know. I just sort of likened that to moving from one parallel universe to another. But irrespective of all that, all those things are stored permanently in our brains, every single memory and the way things made us feel. Oh, and one other thing before I go on to the way things make us feel and everything being stored in our brain. This photo, as you can see, it's only on 1 page, but I swear to God, unless it's somewhere else in this book, I distinctly remember taking a picture of this photo in the book and it taking up 2 pages. So why it's only taking up 1 page now, I don't know. It could be that this picture appears twice in the book, or this book is Mandela affected. Okay, now on to the brain thing. So I am currently reading this book called The Emotion Code. It's essentially, it says it down here, some of you guys may have read it, How to release your trapped emotions for abundant health, love, and happiness. And a lot of what it talks about is magnetic healing. Now, some of you know that I am not a law of attraction person. I don't know. I have a problem with the law of attraction. I feel it's sort of unethical in the sense that, to me, a loving God or loving universe would not bestow necessarily more happiness upon an already happy person, because the happiness is already the reward. And I love positivity and I love happiness, but in the organic sense, not for someone to use as a bargaining chip to get more from the universe. But that's the least of my problem with it. My real problem with the law of attraction is, and this book does believe in the law of attraction, but it's more really into something else. My real problem with the whole law of attraction is that it sort of dictates that anything that a person would worry about, they will bring upon themselves, and the universe will give it to them, because the universe is too dumb to know when a person's worrying versus when a person's thinking positive thoughts. And first of all, I refuse to believe the universe is that dumb. Second of all, I refuse to believe that the universe is that cruel. And frankly, I just don't see it. Because if you think of any kind of parent, whether they're loving or not loving, well, okay, maybe not if they're not loving, but any good parent would never do that to their child. They would never say to their child, "Oh, because you're happy, I'm going to give you more reward because you slapped a smile on your face for the family photo. I'm going to give you more to be happy about." I mean, maybe they would, but that's not, the happiness is the reward. But also, too, if a child is afraid of something, the parent wouldn't say to the child, "Oh yeah, you're afraid of that monster? I'm going to make sure that monster materializes and pops into your room." And that's what I feel about the law of attraction. So anyway, that bugs. But let's get to what I really want to talk about, and that is the brain. Okay. So I really love this, and I'm just going to read it from a really short passage. Well, maybe it's not that short, but let me read this. Okay, consciousness versus subconsciousness. Let's discuss the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Here's a simple way to look at it. It's been said many times that we humans use only about 10% of our brain. What is really meant by this is that the conscious mind needs about 10% of our brain's resources. In other words, thinking, moving about, making choices, planning, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling are all conscious activities and take up 10% of the processing power of our brain. If this is true, what is the other 90% of our brain doing? If the conscious mind takes up 10% of your brain, we can refer to the other 90% as your subconscious mind. This silent and unconscious majority of the brain is constantly busy storing information and keeping your body systems running efficiently. It is also important to understand that the subconscious mind exerts an unseen yet profound influence over the things we do and how we behave and feel. Most people give little thought to their subconscious minds, but imagine for a moment having to take over the functions that your subconscious mind performs. Imagine the difficulty of instructing your digestive system how to digest lunch, or telling your cells how to create enzymes and proteins. Imagine if you had to worry about keeping your heart beating or keeping air moving in and out of your lungs every moment of every day. And you think you have a full schedule now. Like a computer, your subconscious mind is capable of storing vast amounts of information. Brain surgery is often done while the patient is conscious. The brain has no pain-sensing nerves, and surgeons take advantage of this fact to get feedback from their patients while their brains are being delicately probed during surgery. Dr. Wilder Penfield discovered that under certain circumstances, people who are undergoing brain surgery will have memories returned to them when a certain area of the brain is stimulated. For example, the surgeon might touch an area of the brain with his electrode and the alert patient will suddenly remember a scene, a smell, or a sound from a particular moment in their life. Often these flashes of memory are about events or scenes that would be unremembered under normal circumstances. If the same area of the brain is touched again with an electrode in the same precise spot, the same memory will be re-experienced. If you're like me, sometimes it seems difficult to remember what happened yesterday. I believe, however, that your subconscious mind is an amazing recording device. I believe that everything you've ever done in your entire life has been logged in your subconscious mind. Every face you've ever seen in a crowd, every smell, every voice, every song, every taste, every touch, and every sensation you have ever experienced has been recorded by your subconscious. Every virus, bacteria, or fungus that has ever invaded your body, all your injuries, all your thoughts, all your feelings, and the entire history of every cell in your body has all been archived. Your subconscious is also aware of any trapped emotions that your body may be harboring, and it also knows exactly what effect these trapped emotions are having on your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. All this and more is tucked away in the subconscious mind. Now, what does that have to do with the title of this video? Essentially, in making the video the other day about The Cutter, how I remember that Robin Williams movie being entitled The Cutter, and how at the end of everyone's life he would take a microchip out of their brain and edit it into the best scenes of their life for a funeral. Well, if you could just get the brain, you wouldn't have to do that. I mean, like, the brain is its own microchip. The brain is essentially one big, living, walking, moving microchip. So they wouldn't necessarily even have to microchip us. I mean, they would, because a microchip can store more easily and it doesn't need the human registering the memories in order for the memories to still be recorded. But it was still really fascinating to me. And I, of course, was thinking about snake symbolism used to denote medicine and, what am I trying to say? Medicine and all things health related or corporeal related. And it occurred to me that, well, what else looks like a snake? I mean, aside from our DNA, much of which is junk DNA, the last I heard, although I think some scientists tried to debunk that. What else looks like a snake? Our brain. Our brain looks like a pile of snakes piled on top of each other. And what is the secondary brain in our body? Our digestive tract. And what do our intestines look like? Our intestines look like snakes. So, and also if you don't have good gut bacteria down there, then you're pretty much, your second brain is out of commission. And what did we eat in order to gain the wisdom of knowledge of good and evil and everything else? An apple. And what eats apple? Apples. A worm. And what do worms look like? A snake. And it all comes full circle. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. Anyway, my point is that I don't know. I just think it's fascinating. Our brain in and of itself is like a microchip. And everything that counts as a brain in the body looks like a snake, including the thing we ate, who eats the thing we ate to get to the knowledge encompassed by the snake. Anyway, I think it's all very fascinating. I had more to say, but I'm running out of time because I only have a certain time allotment on this camera. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good night and peace out.